Simmers, Claire here and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are back with the face cam. I know, what a shock. I stopped doing face cam while I was transitioning between my computers and my setups because while I was in the middle of moving everything out of my bedroom, it was just super messy. I didn't feel like showing you guys that. But now we have my new space, my new room. You can see I have my new bookshelf behind us. Hopefully you guys can tell a difference on the video at the fact that I'm using my brand new computer, because I know I can. The moment I started playing this game, like immediately I realized the difference between the graphics and the speed that everything was loading and just how beautiful everything looked. And then I almost cried when I took screenshots. I know, I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, I get it. But my Mac couldn't register because the graphic settings were on so low. My Mac could not register like shadows in the game for some reason. Like when I was taking screenshots, if there was a window, it wouldn't have the different lighting from the shadows and the sun coming in through the window. It just wouldn't do that. And when I was taking the screenshots for this house, because this was the first house that I built on my new computer, it like really showed off the beauty of like the sun coming in, the sun setting, I was so in love. So I'm super happy with it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys can tell a difference. But yeah, into the build now. So for this build, we are doing kind of a simple house. Like I said, this was the first build I did on my new computer, so I wanted to kind of do something I was comfortable with so I could learn the mechanics, because if you saw my tweet, then you know I've been having a little bit of an issue going back to using a PC after using a Mac for so many years. But I have to say my biggest issue is that the PC keyboards have a button on the keyboard right next to the Alt key that like shuts down your game and loads back up like your home screen. And I didn't have that on Macs, so if I accidentally hit the button next to it, it's not called Alt on my Mac, but the equivalent button to an Alt, which is what you use to free place things in The Sims, nothing would happen. It would just like sit there. But this, like if I do it on this, it like shuts down the whole game. That happened way more times than I'm willing to admit while I was building this first house, and even when I built my second house, it was still a little bit of an issue. So I'm still getting a little used to the new keyboard. And of course my sister's been using PCs this whole time, so she's been really nice. She's been helping me out with it. But yeah, so this house is a family home. It is 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, I believe. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. It is a very simple home in Newcrest. I was trying to stick with, you know, basic worlds. I can't wait to build in Brindleton Bay with this. Although I say that, I have actually technically already built with Brindleton Bay, but I haven't done any screenshots for it yet. So at the time that I'm doing this voiceover, I built the exterior of a haunted house, so that way when we got the new pack, paranormal stuff, I could just furnish the inside, because it's a stuff pack, so I didn't know how much stuff for the outside we were going to get. But when I woke up this morning, it was like, it's not being released until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was like, what? I was so annoyed. I was like, because I have stuff I have to do today, so I was like, I can't just sit and wait for it to upload. So I did decide to do the voiceover for this video first, and then if I end up being able to finish that video in time to post on Wednesday, then that will be the first video up with my new computer. If not, this will be the first build up with my new computer that you guys are seeing. But I do really like how this house ended up turning out. I was playing with some new things, trying to do some different colors and everything, and you'll also notice a couple of times my game color or my game day settings change, because I kept noticing that because I didn't have shadows before, every time I would go to do like a landscaping thing, I would place terrain paint down, but I couldn't really see what was going on because there was shadows from where the sun was in the game on the house. So I kept like changing the time of day so that way I could get rid of those shadows for when I was doing the landscaping. And in the build for the haunted house, the majority of that build is actually in the evening, because that's just how the sun worked better. But yeah, you can see it right now, I just changed it because I was a little frustrated with the shadows, because I'm just not used to it. Like, I think they look beautiful, and I'm so happy with it, and I love my new graphics. I'm just not used to it. So you guys give me a little bit of time to get used to these whole new shadow things going on, because my mind is blown here. But anyway, we're about to go into like the finalizing of the landscaping. I just put all the terrain paint down, and I do use mostly debug plants on this one, like I do for all of my builds. And I was, again, super happy with how all of the debug plants were looking. I don't know, I was just really happy. I was trying to make the landscaping of this lot not too intense. I wanted it to be green, but I also wanted there to be some color. I didn't want it to just be like lush foliage. I wanted some flowers, so I'm using my favorite debug plants, those really large ones with the bulb flowers on them. And I'm using them in the cream color because I thought that that matched the exterior, the stone I was using the best. And then I'm also using these wild grasses. Now these wild grasses are base game. We got a version of them with Eco Lifestyle that only came in purple. But if you go in the debug menu, you have these from base game, which originally only come in green, but now in the debug menu you can get them in purple, blue, white, and this orange color. And we all know I love my fall hues, my fall everything, so I always use the orange color. I think it's just absolutely beautiful. And then I'm filling up this space here. It was a little hard because obviously the terrain paint was very tiny, so I was trying to find plants that wouldn't go over into the walkway and block your sim from walking, or quote-unquote block your sim from walking. They're debug plants, so they won't actually do that, but if it was real life they totally would. So I was trying to use plants that wouldn't, you know, block the way, and I ended up just shrinking down those large leafy plants that I was using. And then back here we are using the same plants, and we have one of my favorite Brindleton Bay, what's that pack called? Cats and Dogs trees over there in the corner. I didn't use the fall swatches because I started a new save and I started it in spring, so finally I have the ability to have all the flowers show in the game. Now unfortunately in the screenshots it's again still too early in the springtime, but we'll get there. We will get there to where my screenshots no longer show dead plants, I promise. And then we're just finishing up the landscaping, and I think I'm going to start placing windows. So I think I placed some in the front of the house, but I hadn't done any in the back. And I was initially going to wait to place windows all over the build because I wanted to see how the inside worked out, because a lot of times I place all the windows and then I have nowhere to put anything on the walls inside the house. But I did do the front and the back, and then I deal with the sides later on, because it's usually the sides that I end up forgetting to put windows on, and they're just windowless sides. So when I go through and decorate the bedrooms, I've started to remember to place the windows on the walls. And then over here, they have this little alcove area on their front porch. I didn't want to do anything too fancy because they do have the back porch as well. But there is this little side door here that actually leads into the laundry room. So I did want to give them just a little bit of a space, maybe like a hangout space. Maybe while they're doing their laundry, they come and sit outside if it's a nice day or something like that. Or if they're like super dirty, instead of tracking all the mud through the front of the house, they go in through the laundry room, and that's where they kind of set up shop. And then this is a front door from Cats and Dogs, and now we're on into the interior. So over here I use this base game table. It's kind of like a industrial looking thing, and it reminds me of all these tables I used to love looking at in restoration hardware magazines, because I used to like steal those from my mother and just like look at them and like take pictures out for furniture items that I really liked and I really wanted to use. And then I'm using this picture from Snowy Escape. It has Asian writing. I don't know what it's called, but it doesn't fit exactly, but I liked how the wood tone looked, and I thought that the flowers on it looked really pretty, so I did decide to use it there. And then over here I'm just doing a basic little mirror with the umbrella rack and the coat rack as well. And then down here, this is the guest bathroom, the family bathroom, I guess, the one that everyone's going to use. And this does also connect to the laundry room, so there's two doors right here, and down here it's just a half bath, so it's just a sink and a toilet, and then a couple of decorations, and then in here is going to be where the laundry is. And I had to kind of finagle things. You saw me moving them around right there because the door, I didn't think your sim would be able to get to the dryer if I left the door where it was, so I did just move it around a little bit. And then I get a couple of decorations in here. It's quite a small room though, so I didn't do too many. I didn't want to make it inusable. And then going out here, this is the living room, which is my favorite room of the house, mostly because of how beautiful it looked in the screenshots, but I was also, I don't know, I was really happy with how everything kind of came together, how everything kind of looked. So I'm using the cats and dogs chair or couch that I almost never use because I don't like the swatches on it, and if I do use it, I only use this swatch because it's the most plain. And then I mix it with the Parenthood chair, the one that doesn't really have like a partner. It doesn't have a matching couch, it doesn't have another matching chair. It's this one right here with the pillow on it. I thought that the pillows on this chair kind of looked nice with the ones from the cats and dogs chair, and then the wood tone on the chair matched the color of the couch, so I thought that that was kind of cool. And I also want to say, I've noticed a lot of different colors now that I have these new graphics. So if I have ever said anything about like a color not looking right, or a color not, you know, fitting what I needed to, or not really making any sense, and all of you have been sitting there and you're just like, what is she talking about? That color looks fine. I take it all back, okay? I really do. The colors look beautiful. I was unaware that some of these colors just looked like crap on my computer, so I do apologize about that one. But over here we are building a custom TV unit, so I did use these base game cabinets. That's what those are called. I almost said countertops again, but so I'm using these base game cabinets, and I merged them together with like the standing one, and then I'm putting a couple of decorations on here. Nothing too fancy, just a little dog statue, a plant, and then the cards and the gaming console. And then I'm adding the magazine holder for next to the couch, and then I'm adding an artwork over here just because the wall was a little empty, and then I'm adding another shoe rack because there is another back door out here, so I figured that they would want somewhere to put their shoes. And then on top of this, I am placing one of those, they're not debug, base game bin things, and then a bowl from Eco Lifestyle. And then over here in the hallway, I just do a simple picture here, but then under the window I do get another chair, or I think it's a love seat. It's the one from Jungle Adventure, and I didn't necessarily know how well that fit with the rest of the house, but I really like that piece of furniture, and I thought that the wood that it's made out of is like the exact same color as the couch, so I thought that it kind of made sense despite the fact that was a little bit more rustic than the rest of the house was. And then over here in this corner, I do end up getting a side table that I place a little teeny tiny plant on. I initially was going to do just one large plant, but I couldn't find any that I really liked to go in this corner, so I did decide just to do a table with some decorations on it. And then before we go into the kitchen, I do also want to say I got a new desk chair, which is why I'm kind of swinging a little bit more than usual. So if that's annoying, I promise it won't happen for forever. I'm just really excited about my new desk chair because my other one was like super tiny, and it was like a vanity chair, so it didn't really, like, it was really uncomfortable to sit in for long periods of time. But I was literally playing The Sims yesterday for like 8 hours, and I was totally fine with this chair, so way to go. But now we're into the dining room, and we are using the Jungle Adventure round table, and then these cats and dogs chairs with the cushions on them. I don't know what they're called. I almost said wicker, but they're not wicker. But I think that they look really nice with this table. I'm starting to kind of mix and match tables and chairs more often, and I think that this is a good combination. And then I'm also using the cats and dogs shelf over here in the corner, and I just put one of the cats and dogs little plant things on it. I forgot to re-download my red shelf into this computer. I downloaded all of my CC for like making my Sims, but I totally forgot about the red shelf. So this build and probably the next build are completely done without the red shelf, and then I will just get it back eventually because raising it up with the 9 key is not as it doesn't work as well as the red shelf does. But now we're on into the kitchen, which I also think is a rather cute space. It's a little small for the size of this family, but there is, I believe it ends up being 2 usable counters. The one next to the refrigerator is a little iffy because there is something on it, but I think it's far enough back that you should be able to use both the counter next to the stove and the counter next to the refrigerator. And then I also get a little seating table in here. Now the seating table is only functional for 2 of the chairs. You will see though that I do place 3 chairs and 1 high chair because there is a toddler in this house. But it does, only 2 of the chairs are functional. You'll see I place it right now. I use the Parenthood table, the one that's like all wood, and I initially placed four cats and dog chairs. These are wicker, these wicker ones, but I decided to do a high chair, and then I do place a 4 chair, but you can kind of see that I like merged them into the table, so your sim definitely will not be able to sit there. And then over here I'm doing a dog bowl, and then I think I put some pictures up on the wall because it just looked really bland with nothing above the food bowls. And then in here is the little tiny office area. There isn't a lot to this office, I will say. It is mostly just the desk and some bookshelves. And then I think I might get a small seating area, but I don't think there's any hobby stuff in this office. I do have some gardening stuff outside, so if they did hobby, I definitely thought it'd be gardening. But I'm using the Seasons desk, and then I'm gonna use a base game chair, one of the really comfy office ones, and then I get them a computer and then just a couple of clutter items on the desk. Nothing too fancy. I did go with magazines instead of books. I thought maybe they worked for a magazine, or maybe they were in like the social media career or something, which I think technically you need a camera to be in the social media career, which I did not give them, but you know, we can just pretend it is The Sims. And then going over here, I wanted to create this like cute little like sitting nook on the window that I have over here, but it wouldn't let me place anything super far out on the window. So I just placed 2 candles like as far as it would let me go, and then I placed a couple of those toddler cushions from the toddler stuff pack, and then right next to it I place a chair and then a little side table with a lamp on it for like a little reading corner. And then up here is the toddler's bedroom. So the toddler's bedroom is super cute. I initially was gonna put a side table there, and then I was like, toddlers don't really need side tables and it takes up a lot of space and it looks just so weird. The side tables we have in the game are huge, and comparatively to the toddler beds, like the size of the toddler beds, it is just, they just look really big. So I decided against it, and I'm using the Eco Lifestyle dresser over here, and then the mirror, not the Eco Lifestyle mirror though, but the really pretty one from Movie Hangout. And then I did decide to put a rocking chair in here because I usually place rocking chairs in my nurseries, and I thought that maybe they had just aged up into a toddler, so they still had a rocking chair for, you know, one of the parents to sit and read to them and stuff while they went to bed. And then in here, this is going to be the parents' bedroom. So it's a rather large bedroom, but I don't know if I utilized the space properly. There's a door to a balcony that I forgot to furnish, so that one's free for you guys to furnish when you download this house. I did that on purpose. But in here I just get this little like fern-like plant that I never use because it's way too big, and then a chair in the corner. And then over here I use the tiny living dressers because I wasn't sure if the other dressers were going to prohibit them from walking into the bathroom, because the parents do have their own ensuite. And then like I said, there's a door out to a balcony up on the top level, and then over here in this corner I get another lamp, and then I place one of the cats and dogs rugs underneath of the bed just to kind of finish off the room. I also really like the parents' bedroom. I think that the color scheme, I don't know if I've ever used that bed from cats and dogs. Well, I've used the bed but not that swatch, so I really like how it all came together. And then in here is the parents' ensuite. So it's basically the same exact stuff from downstairs, and then I added a seasoned shower as well. And then I get a couple of decorations around. I was initially trying to place a bathtub, I'm sure you guys saw, but I didn't think it was going to fit, and I didn't want to try and make anything overly complicated and not have it work for you guys. And then in here is one of the kids' bedrooms. So initially I was going to place the bed right under the window because I thought that it looked nice with the way that the curtains were hanging, and then it would be like right underneath, but I decided against it because it didn't really, the bed was too large to fit directly under the window, and then there was no space to put anything behind or below the bed. So I decided to place the kids' desk there instead, and I get just a couple of clutter decorations, a piggy bank, and then that toy box from Parenthood I put underneath the desk. Your Sim should still be able to sit there. Their legs will clip into the thing, but if you don't look closely, you won't be able to tell. And then I get a couple of paintings and pictures, and then I forgot to place a dresser, so I real quickly placed the large one from kids' room stuff in the same color that the kids' bed is in, so it kind of looked like it was maybe one unit. And then in here is the eldest child, so I did think that they were probably a teenager or maybe like a preteen, but we don't have preteens in The Sims, so they would have to be a teenager. And then they have their own laptop in here, as well as a desk that I put some makeup on and a couple of pictures, and maybe they were a part of a sports team or they had some friends. And then above their bed I do place these 2 skateboarding things. So I was originally going to put them over the bedside tables, but I do put them both on top of the bed in the end. And I really like the swatches of these 2 like work together, and I'm sure you guys can tell that this is like my favorite kids room decoration because I always use them because I just think that they're so pretty. And then I give them a guitar and then some movie hangout pictures. And then I'm going to place some curtains up. I used the ones from Movie Hangout. And now we're on to the exterior, the backyard. So we are placing a little grill and then a little seating area for the family to sit outside and have some dinner. It is the picnic table from Journey to Batu. And then I merged that plant, my favorite plant, with the vase from Spa Day. So that way it just gave it a little bit of a different color, a different feel to it. And then I placed a garden hose because there is going to be a garden, and I over here is like the kid area, so I placed a swing set, and then I built a sandbox, and I ended up putting the toddler slide in the sandbox, so that way I kind of thought that the kid had the swing set, the toddler had the sandbox, and then the teenager had their computer and everything upstairs. So I kind of thought each kid had a separate thing that they were able to do, some separate hobbies. And then over here I am placing a path using my favorite garden path stones, and this is going to lead to the gardening area, which isn't anything too fancy. It's just 3 garden plots and then 2 beekeeping stations. But besides that, that is it for this build. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!